Welcome to another episode of Scared. Tonight we're coming to you from New Hampshire, where we'll be investigating the Portsmouth Lighthouse and neighboring Fort Constitution. Now, the site has been in operation since pre-Revolutionary War time, so there's a lot of history here. As you know, lighthouses are a beacon for ships at sea, but they may also be a beacon for lost souls. And in New England, none shine brighter than the Portsmouth Lighthouse. Our resident psychic, Lisa Ann, is on a separate assignment back in New York, so tonight we're relying strictly on science. However, we're not alone. Our friends at Granite State Paranormal and the paranormal investigators of New England will be joining the investigation. Now, although we're all working as a team, each group will provide their own assessment. So now, turn off your lights, turn up your volume, and get ready to be scared. Jim Snell of Granite State Paranormal contacted Brian, and he asked us if we'd be interested in doing a joint investigation at the Portsmouth Lighthouse.
But when we got there, not only was there the lighthouse, but there was the lighthouse keeper's actual house, and next to it was Fort Constitution, an entire fortress that, while the Coast Guard now runs, has a big historical importance in the area as a whole and is related to the lighthouse. So getting there and seeing all this room and all these different places to go investigate, I was really excited about it.
My name is Jeremy D'Entremont. I'm the president of the Friends of Portsmouth Harbor Lighthouse, which is a chapter of the American Lighthouse Foundation, and we care for this lighthouse. We take care of this 1878 lighthouse that we're inside right now and a couple of the associated structures here. This lighthouse was built in 1878. It's the third lighthouse built here at this site. Actually, the first lighthouse was 1771, and it was approximately 300 feet kind of in back of me, where I'm standing right now. At first, it was cared for by the British soldiers at the fort here before the Revolution. This was a British fort. Paul Revere rode up here and warned the local colonists that the British were planning to reinforce this fort. And as a result, the local colonists came and actually raided and took all the ammunition from the fort here. And there were something like 6 British guards who possibly fired a shot or two in defense, but there was nobody injured or killed in that battle. After the war, the Americans took over care of the lighthouse. It was rebuilt in 1804, right on the spot where we're standing right now. The lighthouse built in 1804 was an 80-foot octagonal wooden tower, much bigger than the one we're in now. And this one is 48 feet tall, cast iron on the outside. There's a brick lining. And we're up here in the lantern room where we have the 4th order Fresnel lens here, which provides the light for the lighthouse. We're lucky to still have a beautiful old 19th century lens in this lighthouse. This finial on the railing out here in the gallery was apparently hit by lightning at some point. You can see how it's melted on that side. We don't know when that happened, but only lightning could have done that to that. So there is a lightning rod on top of the tower, but apparently at some point the lightning didn't know it was supposed to hit the lightning rod. Well, some people question the value of lighthouses these days, whether they're still used for, still needed for navigation or not. My answer to that is if you got rid of lighthouses, you'd get a lot of complaints from fishermen, from small boaters especially. It's nice to have something you can actually see, like a lighthouse, a light at night, so you know you're where you think you are. We hold open houses here every month in the summer. We have one open house a month. We are planning to have some additional ones next year where people can come in and tour the lighthouse, learn about its history. We also hold cruises in the area to see some of the other local lighthouses, and we have other events during the course of the year. So, when I first got involved with this lighthouse about 5 years ago, I didn't know it had a reputation as being a haunted lighthouse or anything like that, but more and more I've heard a number of stories. 2 of our volunteers, people in our group, have been inside the lighthouse by themselves in the middle of the day and swore in both cases they heard a male voice talking. Also, a couple of Coast Guard people have reported hearing footsteps upstairs in the keeper's house, which is now used as offices by the Coast Guard. Also, other Coast Guard people have reported seeing shadowy figures move around the grounds of the station at night. The investigative group we had here last year, in addition to their medium, was part of the group picking up on a lot of things going on here. Their electromagnetic field meters picked up a lot of activity. Before that, we had a prominent psychic here who immediately picked up on what he said was the presence of a man who used to live here, and it fit right in with what we know about one of the keepers who was here for many years. There was a keeper named Joshua Card who was here for 35 years, and he was 87 years old and he retired. This psychic told us that his presence is still very much here. He said this was his baby. He had to be dragged out of here kicking and screaming. We don't know of any violent loss of life here connected to the lighthouse, but I will tell you that the largest loss of life in this general place where we are now is at the fort right next door here, Fort Constitution. On the 4th of July in 1809, they were having a 4th of July celebration, so they put all this gunpowder and ammunition out on the ground of the fort, and somehow it ignited in the sun. There was a big explosion. Depending on what version of the story you read, anywhere from 7 to 15 people died in that explosion.
Including the scared crew, GSP, some members from Pine. There was also some observers there, which made for a total of over 20 people on this investigation.
Granite State Paranormal and the Paranormal Investigators of New England are science-based groups, so it was good to have people who thought like I did.
No, I've been doing this for about a little over a year, actually, with GSP. We started GSP last year because there weren't any paranormal groups in New Hampshire, so we made our own.
Hi, I'm Carrie from Granite State Paranormal. I am the co-director and case manager of the group. My job entails looking up haunted locations and finding out history on them and booking the locations for us to investigate.
I got a call one time by GSP's Jim Snell. Told me about this lighthouse that was haunted. As soon as I heard lighthouse, I said, yeah, definitely, I'm in.
I work for the Villager newspaper out of Hillsborough, and I've written about Granite State Paranormal before, and that's why I'm down here working with them.
I'm not a sensitive, nor psychic or anything like that. I just happen to be around poltergeist happenings.
I am a believer in the paranormal due to a personal experience I had when I was 16 years old.
You know, a friend of yours tells you something or a source tells you something, and you've got to go figure out whether they're right or wrong. A lot of times it's just gossip.
When you watch like Ghost Hunters or Most Haunted or any paranormal show, there's not many skeptics on it, and they want you to believe.
I think the real pivoting point for me was when paranormal studies merged with scientific studies. I think that's what did it for me.
I'm such a skeptic where I just got to see the apparition, and then like if I saw one and I did this, my whole feelings would totally be different.
In some ways I'm skeptical, and in other ways I'm not. I mean, I believe there's an energy that's beyond us, but I want to see it. I want to see it for myself.
Probably the best equipment I have is probably my own eyes.
I'm a skeptical believer. I believe there's something going on, but it's going to have to be pretty significant to, for me to go away from a site going, holy crap, this place is haunted.
Long night ahead of us, man. It's early. It's only like 7 o'clock. It's 6:30. So,
Can anybody hear me? This is Jeremy.
Hi, Jeremy.
Hi. I don't know if you just heard me. The keeper's house is now open.
Okay, I got ya.
I gotta get the truck over there and run some lines with some cameras out of that.
we divide into teams, and the teams are going to go investigate the premises one at a time. And hopefully, one of these teams will catch something.
Granite State Paranormal, paranormal investigators of New England, and the Scared Crew working together. Either we were going to find something, or there was nothing to find.
Are you ready, baby?
Yeah, you ready?
Soccer roll.
Yeah, baby.
There's a lot of energies, and when somebody dies, his energy doesn't disappear, it's transformed to some other energy. That the science is advanced a lot, that could monitor and measure any kind of energy in any size or shape.
Reports of people hearing a male voice inside the tower when nobody was around. First one was my wife. A few months later, one of our volunteers was here by himself. He told me the way he described it was exactly the same thing.
And Jeremy himself has a credibility because he's been working with this place in an official manner. He's not here to chase ghosts. So that's the type of sources I look for in any story, whether it be a ghost story or a news story.
This lighthouse is only good to back to 1870, which is not that old compared to some things, but sure. We have human history here of the fort and lighthouse going back almost 400 years to 1630s.
Mm-hmm. With the old tradition of lighthouses, with the death of ships and stuff like that, is really like a fear factor to it.
There have been shipwrecks here over the years. There was a British schooner wrecked by whaleback light where several British sailors died.
When the fort was taken over initially, were there deaths?
No, there was a skirmish in 1774 where the colonists raided and took the ammunition here, but there were shots fired, but nobody even wounded or anything.
Okay, so pretty much the only deaths that happened on site would be the explosion and maybe possibly the natural death.
Family of lighthouse keepers, possibly deaths of soldiers or something naturally.
Yep. Yeah.
They have a woman who specializes in EVPs, electronic voice phenomena. She picked up several very interesting sounds. She said on the recorder who's there, and a male voice, it's pretty clear, says, it's real quick. It's either Captain or the Captain. And we know that the keeper I was talking about earlier, Joshua Card, who was here for 35 years until he was 87 years old. We know from one story about him that he liked being called Captain.
That's
so
great.
His uniform had K's on the shoulders. People say, "What does that stand for?" And he'd say, "Captain," of course. So
that's that's totally.
I can actually email.
That's intelligent if it's responding with its name.
I'm going to be taking digital thermometer readings, which I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to get from that since it's very cold out here. And to detect a cold spot in this will be next to impossible, but I'll give it a shot. Take some pictures, attempt to take some EVPs, as well as using the EMF detector to see if there's any abnormal spots. So let's do this. In the fort, there was a section that we were told was the armory. Granite State Paranormal set up this laser apparatus. What this did, they could set it in the center of the room, and the laser would go around the borders of the room. And if anything crossed the laser, if anything moved into or out of its field, it would alert them to that there was something there.
Yeah, right now it's actually detecting us, so they'll probably be like, oh, we got something, we got two big things on this little screen. But it's just us, so sorry guys. I kind of wish I would see something too, so that I at least have a starting ground to base my investigations off of. Right now I've got nothing. The burden of proof is on me. And much like our legal system, if there's even something to give me reasonable doubt, that's terms for being debunked. I'm going to attempt to take a movie opinion. Just because I'm not detecting it here doesn't mean it's not here, so might as well be thorough. Is there any spirit in here that wishes to make contact? Does anyone still remain in this gun battery? Earlier in the day, this felt like a kind of a bright room that had a great look over the entire harbor. Now it feels very closed in and tomb-like. I mean, military installations were not built for their decor, so of course, it's all about what you bring to it. I think that's true with most hauntings and most things supernatural, paranormal. It's all based on your personal feelings.
I'm still waiting for that almighty experience myself. You know, I've done all these investigations and still haven't found anything, so.
It's crazy because, I mean, a lot of people here have today felt and heard things, and actually Sean and I had a little experience in the Lighthouse where we were trying to get some EVPs, and it was banging in response to some questions.
Really?
And we're like, oh, well, we were literally at the top of the Lighthouse, so
it's like normal paranormal taps.
I mean, it could have been the wind. It's incredibly cold out here on this November night. Cold and windy. Cold and windy. We're now inside the lighthouse itself. This goes up pretty high. We're gonna go up to the top and see what we can catch. All right.
Anybody's here? We come in peace, we don't come to hurt nobody. Just express yourself. Religion is a very strong part of the paranormal activities because to believe in God and to believe in the soul, which as you can't see, but you believe in it. في حدا بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين اظهر نفسك تكلم معي. Anybody's here? You have to reach to the soul and you have to go to back to your belief in the three main religion, Judaism and Islam and Christianity, just to reach out to the common soul that we all believe on. And that's what I try to do, like to reach to the soul what all the religion believe in.
Whatever that case may be, Sean did try to speak to them in his native language, and I think just trying to do so is as valid as speaking in English.
Salam, shalom, peace. We come in peace. Just give us a sign. Don't be scared.
Is that the wind or is that something? Did you hear that?
Yep. And all of a sudden I hear this noise come from outside, and I got shocked, you know, like he's answering back to me, you know. And then Brian said, "Oh, forget about it, just went from outside." I said, "Oh my God," you know, I was really scared that moment, you know, I thought really something kicking back to me. Are you here? Tell us what you want.
Now, we heard a lot of banging noises, whether it was something random or something specific. The thing we did note was that it was always in response to our questions. We're now at the top of the lighthouse, right by the light. It's got a green tint over it so that the ships see a green light. Very eerie, especially in this investigation, to have this green light bathing everything we see.
Noise?
Yeah, is that something clattering outside?
Maybe somebody knocking gives a sign.
I'm not getting any readings, but we are hearing a banging sound. It could be from the wind, but if it is from the wind, it's from something outside on the balcony here, and it's dark and it's pretty dangerous to go and check outside, but I think that's what we have to do to rule out it being just a noise or something responding to our questions.
It was really, really scary. I was like debating myself not to do it or to do it. I was thinking, it's worth it, is it worth it? It's very windy.
We have to be careful of the railing. It's pretty slippery up here too. We don't want to slip and fall.
It was really scary because even daytime, it's scary because the wind and the height and the structure of the building was so open that any misstep you could flip and die, you know.
Okay. We're making our way around. We want to see if there's a logical explanation for the banging sounds we've been hearing. Now, it's very windy out here, so I don't imagine that'll be too hard to find, but I'm not going to rule anything out just yet. We even went outside to investigate, but we couldn't find a source for the noise.
Assalamu alaikum. Is anybody souls around here?
Did you used to work here at the lighthouse? Why do you remain?
Even if it was a very scary experience to go up there in the freezing cold, in the middle of the night, 3 o'clock almost in the morning, and with a high wind, but me and Brian, as part of the SCARE team, we went for it because we always have to go the extra mile to prove ourselves that we could do things that nobody else could do.
So we were up in the what's called the pillbox, and I was working with the psychic, and I don't know, I just got some strange EMF readings that I couldn't explain away. So I went and got Brian and Chris.
And we're now going back to see if we can verify those results.
A very strange and mysterious place.
Anything happening? Nothing. Just green.
That's just turning it on.
Now, we were using the ELF zone EMF meter. Jeff was using a Gaussmaster. Same type of meter. His is a little more sensitive. But both meters are meant to detect electromagnetic fields, not ghosts.
Right, and it's above the zero. I mean, it is on. So, you know, and then when you want to go for, you know, just spikes, all I have to do is press that.
Now move that away. Huh.
His meter seems to be going off the scale, whereas mine is getting nothing.
Whether or not that's calibrated to the stuff, to
same way your meters are. The very fact that this thing doesn't stay the same, that it moves around, that's the thing. Oh, you're at 4. That wasn't like this in here before.
We had nothing.
When Jeff's meter was going crazy, it knocked me out. I mean, I couldn't believe it because our meter was doing nothing.
Keep reading and go along each wall to see exactly where it's moved.
Do a 360-degree thing. Keep it there. Look, just a moment ago it wasn't there. See? Wow, that's interesting, isn't it?
And our team was following it around with there seemed to be no explanation for it.
There's no magnetic or electrical thing in the fort, or the wall of the fort.
Is there anything that can generate an electromagnetic field that is free floating, that is just almost like cast off energy that can move around?
From what I understand, it actually can be projected, the energy. I mean, you've got light sources. I mean, it could just...
Is there anything from Coast Guard radar that might have anything to do with this?
Yeah, I mean, this is also, we might be going to a classified area where, they're not going to release what they're using.
The details.
The investigation is going fantastic tonight. Everybody's doing really well. We have a huge group. This is the biggest group that we've worked with so far. This is the biggest investigation that GSP's been on so far.
The location was so big, it required a second night of investigating.
All right, here we go. Gotta do my sweep of the keeper's house. I don't expect to find very much in here. This is a location that the people work at every day. This is an office now. Basement's always creepy, even more so in a supposedly haunted location. That never stopped us before, and it's not going to stop us now. But I'm going to use our digital thermometer to just take some basic readings. What you do, you point it at the subject, laser beam comes out, bounces off whatever you're aiming it at, and it comes back with a temperature reading. And we use this to look for cold spots.
Brian took a lot of readings. He had a lot of equipment there. Digital thermometers, EMF detectors, audio recorders.
Obviously, this electronic mess that we've made right here as part of our surveillance equipment is making this go off the scale, but that's normal, and at least we know our equipment is working. Members of GSP, as well as other people who visited the lighthouse, have reported strange occurrences here in the kitchen on the second floor. I'm going to see if I can't find something of my own by taking EVPs. While I do that, I'm going to leave my meter sitting right here next to me, so maybe if something moves towards me or moves around me, that'll pick it up. November 10th, 2007 at approximately 10:15. Chris is on cameras. I'm sitting by the window. Lighthouse keeper Joshua Card has been rumored to be on these grounds and perhaps even in this building. Are you here Mr. Card.
Basically what I do is I do research either prior or after an investigation, check deeds. In some cases history's been done for me, but I like to just verify if anything tragic's happened or not.
The less I know, I feel the better, because then I can really take on my own feelings and what the evidence will show me, rather than what is a preconceived notion of the area that's being investigated.
Lighthouse with Carrie, Stowe, Sil, and Lisa. If there's anybody here with anything to say, we're here.
We were told you like to walk around at this time of night. Come join us.
We tend to try to sometimes just kind of sit, listen for things to happen, rather than just walking around everywhere. We like to sometimes kind of listen. We've been kind of doing a lot of motivating up and down the stairs, so, you know, it's a little away from the norm, but we'll see. Hello. We've come to talk to you. You drove all this way. At least you could do is show yourself to us, or let us know you're here somehow. Ooh, what was it? What was that? What was that flash?
I don't know.
Okay, that's...
What was that flash?
I don't know.
Did you just see that flash?
I just saw it.
No, it was like boom.
Right over your head.
And that wasn't the light from the lighthouse either.
It wasn't.
Can you do that again? Are we making you angry, talking to you like that?
Twice for yes, once for no.
You didn't just see that?
I'm looking down here.
I swear to God, I just seen a shadow go up those stairs. I'm not even lying. No, I am not lying. I just seen a shadow go up those stairs. I'm not kidding. I'm telling you right now, I just seen like grayish figure come right up around this bend, instantaneously, and it was gone. And we seen a flash of light. I tend to believe, I went out and checked out one of the windows, I tend to believe that it was a boat that could have possibly been going by, or the light from the other lighthouse reflecting off of some kind of metal. I did, however, was sitting on the stairs, and I had thought I seen a gray mass go zipping around one of the corners of the lighthouse stairs, so it'll be interesting to review the footage on that and see if we caught anything as far as that goes.
Activity happens most and is reported most by people is between 2 and 2:30 a.m.
One of the pieces of equipment Granite State Paranormal has brought with them this evening is a K2 meter. What this is an EMF detector. The cool thing about this is there are LED lights that are on the top of the meter, and if there is a spirit present, you can ask them to make the lights blink twice for yes or once for no questions. Jeremy had mentioned to us that we should try going out around 2 or 3 a.m. We did. We tackled the pillbox out in Fort Constitution, and we had some pretty interesting responses to some questions that we were asking. Again, approach the meter, use your energy. Yes. Are you older than 40 years old?
When you died.
When you died, can you please make it spike twice for yes and once for no, please?
We will stand here and continue to ask questions until someone gives us a yes twice or no once. Answer, please.
Okay.
Wow.
Were you over 50 years old when you died?
The K2 was answering, some questions that they were asking, and review the evidence on the audio and the DVR later as well. It was friggin' cold, but rock that.
probably going to take a little bit because of the energy it just used it. And we ended up finding out that the spirit allegedly we were communicating with was over 90 years old, and that they worked there, and that it was potentially a female. It had answered no to it being a male. We did not get a response on whether it was a female, but where we got a no response for a male, the assumption is it's a female.
We've got all kinds of gadgets. We've got digital recorders, micro cassette recorders, infrared cameras, digital cameras, high 8s, and some EMFs. Got a few of those.
Basically, I'll run a camera, I'll run an EMF meter, I'll run a infrared night thermal, I'll do temperature changes, I'll run EVP setups, I'll do the whole 9 yards.
I want to believe. I'm a bit of a skeptic, though, and that's one of the reasons that I do this.
Whatever you can think of that's unexplained, we'll go in there and check it out.
If you can't speak to us, can you give us a sign of your presence?
I feel there is something out there. I don't know what.
Anything's basically possible in this world.
These guys were prepared, they had their equipment, they knew how to use it, and throughout the entire night, we knew we could count on them to back us up in any situation.
You getting any readings, Jason?
I had something and it disappeared. This is where, Jeff, you're getting your interesting readings last year.
Actually, with my meter, I'm still getting them, as you see. Walk over here. Going, keeping it at a steady, 0.6. And like I said, you come over here, it dies down to almost nothing. Back up here, and it's reading. And then finally, I said, you know what? I'm just going to stick this outside the window, and then you're still getting it. And then I actually got outside and I started walking around, and then I looked ahead of me, and you can actually see there's a little receiver antenna right straight ahead, and I think that's what's reading this off. I felt the EMF readings were more or less some sort of radar radio wave that was probably transmitting from the actual Coast Guards themselves.
Jeff and the other members of Pine are concluding their investigation of the lighthouse. He reported hearing some inexplicable noises. We're going to go check it out and see if we can corroborate what he's found. He doesn't want to tell us exactly what he experienced up there. He says he wants us to see if we can find out for ourselves.
Brian and I are in the lighthouse, and we're going to set up some audio recording equipment to see if we get any EVPs. So let's get started with that. Is there anybody in here who wants to speak? Please do so now.
Seen that? We're getting some kind of electronic fluctuation up here. Both confirmed by the Gauss Master and as you can see on the screen.
I haven't heard anything yet.
I don't know what that is. Lighthouse Keeper, is that you?
listening. Keep watching, keep listening.
I'm gonna move around and see if it changes. I think I may have found the source of this fluctuation. All right, let me take you over to it. Right over here is a box. Not sure what it does, but you can see the red light blinking. It seems to be blinking in time to this disturbance.
As I mentioned, some people have heard male voices inside the lighthouse, and psychics have felt what they say is a male presence, possibly a former keeper. Possibly Joshua Card, who was here for 35 years. I like to think that he is still here, keeping an eye on things, making sure we're doing things right. I think he's a very friendly spirit, and I don't mind him being here at all.
We had some activity in the lighthouse this evening. I see a shadow go by, flashing. Ooh, what was it? What was that? What was that flash? I don't know.
Okay, that's...
What was that flash? I don't know. Did you just see that flash? I just saw it.
You call that unknown, unexplained.
I was up, it was quiet. I heard nothing, except the wind and the waves outside, that's it.
There was something that happened at the light tower that was more than interesting.
Like that 2 to 3 o'clock hour definitely came alive. We got a lot more in the lighthouse, in the pillbox area up in the fort.
What's the first thing a skeptic's gonna do when someone says, hey, we found something? Show it to me. Prove it.
We went up to the pillbox. The K2 was answering, some questions that they were asking.
And I was getting a little annoyed that my EMF detector wasn't picking up anything.
I think we still need to look at all the evidence to definitely tell if it's haunted or if it's just things that we can't explain as of right now.
I felt the EMF readings were more or less some sort of radar radio wave that was probably transmitting from the actual Coast Guards themselves. I don't think they were paranormal in nature at all.
The last time we were here last year, there were 3 pieces of audio that were collected. 2 of them were collected in the basement. The other one was collected on the 3rd floor, all 3 at the keeper's house.
I like this that doesn't have the sound. 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 He forgot about me. He forgot about me. He forgot about me. He forgot about me.
I had a chance to analyze these EVPs for myself, and I have to say, even though there was one that I didn't hear anything on, 2 of them I had a very hard time refuting.
We had our work cut out for us. Over the 2 nights and multiple cameras, we had about 30 hours of footage to look through.
In reviewing all of our surveillance footage, I have to say I didn't see anything out of the ordinary.
The lighthouse, I didn't feel spooked, really. I thought I heard some things, but it could have been the waves or whatever, so I wasn't really scared.
Is it haunted? I don't think there's enough evidence right now to support it, but there's definitely activity in the light tower itself, so.
I'll have to wait till we review the evidence as well. You don't catch everything by eye.
I knew eventually this place would not disappoint me, and I'm having a feeling it's not gonna.
I do feel that some personal experiences that me, myself only, have experienced here have been a little unexplained. So I would say that there could possibly be, paranormal activity occurring here.
It's extremely possible that lighthouses are going to have some type of energy associated with it, just due to the fact it was a very lonely existence. It could be a very harsh existence. It could be a very emotional existence. And I truly believe that there is a lot of that involved.
I heard nothing. But then, of course, these EVPs, the electronic voice phenomenon, don't often happen audibly, except afterwards on tape, because they are at such a low frequency that we can't even hear them.
Even an EVP, I don't necessarily think can really classify a place as haunted because of an EVP.
While interesting, I don't think it's the end-all be-all of paranormal evidence.
So nothing shakes us unless it's very, very strong evidence of something going on.
I'm a skeptic. What can I say? It's got to be significant for me.
I'm definitely looking forward to the next time that we do a joint investigation with these guys, both Granite State Paranormal and Pine.
I can't imagine a more beautiful place. I just love spending time here, and I think it's probably the best view you're going to get anywhere in this area for sure.